Ladies and gents, what is going on? I have missed you guys. Hey, thanks for tuning into the show. I'm super excited to hop back on here. I just kind of want to talk about like how positive we are. I know some of us are more often not pretty positive, but I think it's interesting to just kind of take a look and reflect. And hopefully, if you're listening to this in the car or in the gym or however you listen to my podcast, hopefully you're just kind of taking a look and asking yourself, how positive are you? And that's kind of why I wanted to lay out a couple bullet points, because I've done some reflecting myself and realized I've done things that don't necessarily make me that positive. I know I might seem like I'm positive, but after my couple health scares, I really evaluated what goes on in my daily life and am I negative or am I positive, right? So before we get into that, I do want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Superfat. Superfat is part of my diet. It's great, especially with this new promotion I got and all the traveling I do. It's such an easy way to get really important fats, good fats. And yes, there is such thing as good fats. The same that's in avocado, the same that's in fish, the same that's in nuts. Superfats is legit. And in fact, just so happens I brought one here. And I'm going to actually crank this out right before a workout today. And, Superfat's great. They got a bunch of different flavors, but this one in particular is it's MCT oil as well as probiotics. And it's actually got macadamia nuts in it too. So it's kind of got that macadamia flavor. It's not like straight up almond butter. And it's got 31 different plant-based fats. So this is vegan. It's keto friendly. It's a really, really great product. I don't know how long they've been in business. I just know that I've been using them for almost a year, and I am excited to let you know that if you are a listener of this podcast, you will be getting a big discount. Simply go to superfat.com and order whatever you want. But whatever you decide to put in your cart, go ahead and put in the code Berardo10, all one word, and you're going to get a 10% discount. So again, thanks Superfat for all the goodies, and it's such a great company, so definitely check it out, and a good snack too. All right, well, let's get into today's episode. Let's do it.
You're just funny. It's funny, the way you tell the story and everything.
Funny how?
Come here, though. Yeah, he's crazy, see? Who are you?
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Are you ready?
How positive are you? And I think that's a pretty good question. We always probably think to ourselves, oh, I'm pretty positive because, we have seen clips of Gary Vee and all these positive guys and all that stuff. And it's all great and motivational, but really when you turn off your phone, how positive are you? How positive are you to your family, to your friends, to your loved ones? And, after I had a couple health scares, I really started evaluating how positive I am and what I could do to make myself less stressed and just more positive and more excited about life and not worry so much and not stress out about little things. And being positive all the time doesn't necessarily mean you have to be super excited all the time. It just means you have to be grateful and you have to not let little things get to you. And you have to understand that, we're only on this earth for a short amount of time. So who you impact today in a positive or negative manner, it could change their day in a positive or negative way. And I think that's important, is we have to be a little selfless, to where we can't just think to ourselves, hey, if I'm positive today, I'm going to get a raise at work. That's the wrong mentality, because work is just work. It's just a job. Hundreds of years ago, we were exchanging salt with people and not having jobs. So job is just something that our culture, invented. So obviously you want to be good at your job, you want to take it seriously, but at the end of the day, you spend more time impacting others, whether it's in a vehicle or with your family, with your friends, how you talk to people via text, via phone, whatever, social media. That's probably the big thing I want to talk about. Was I really stopped, especially for me, I stopped following politics. That's just me. I think it's important that you vote, and I obviously still vote. And having the right to vote is a privilege that not a lot of countries have. So I think it's important that we exercise that right. However, in terms of social media, I chose not to, because it's become so 100% left, 100% right. There's no in between. There's no objective thinkers. I like to think I'm an objective thinker. I try to be anyway. But there's a lot of people that I follow on social media and that follow me that if I was to do something a little bit down the middle and not so left or right, they expect me to kind of hop into that bracket of left or right. So I just chose not to, because then you find yourself in Twitter arguments and, these long Facebook comment posts, and I don't think it's really healthy personally. So I've stopped doing that completely. But when it comes to social media, I think we have to be careful also what we post. Social media is just such a huge, and I've learned this as I'm getting more in depth into this podcast, where I've noticed that social media is a lot bigger than you guys probably think. And I know we all are under the assumption that social media is the massive conglomerate of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, but it's so much more than that, because everything you're doing out there is obviously going to be out in the universe forever. But this is your legacy. This is what 5 or 10 years from now. I mean, poor Kevin Hart. I mean, he dealt with all that bullshit from Twitter 10 years ago. But if he understood that what he put on social media was going to impact other people, and being a celebrity, you're going to be under the spotlight a little bit more. And that's why you get paid millions of dollars to make movies. I mean, you have to, if you have an opinion, either stand by that opinion or just understand that you might be scrutinized down the road for it. And I think we all have to kind of think about that as well. You might get scrutinized for something you say, and you can't really be upset about it if you decide to put that out on social media, because essentially you're holding up a big sign saying, hey, this is what I believe, take it or leave it. And again, not that there's anything wrong with that. We should be able to do it. But when someone disagrees with you, you shouldn't be upset at that person. You should be able to construct yourself in a positive way and a constructive way to get your message across. I think if you post something up on social media, me personally, and you post it up in its opinion, and maybe a lot of people don't share that same opinion, but then they come back at you, you have to be able to learn how to have a conversation with those people instead of thinking that you're right, because again, it's an opinion. Sometimes it's not always facts that people post. So I'm trying to be very objective with my social media posts. And, again, it's okay to have opinions, but you also have to understand that other people might not share that opinion, so they might get upset at what you post. And it's not okay for you to get upset at them, because that's just, you're going down to their level. I think we all have to be a little bit more responsible with what we do with social media. And I'm trying to get a lot better at that for sure. And hopefully you guys are too. But aside from like social media and your phone and all that, I think that's all, pretty important. But I have noticed that I'm able to stay a lot more positive, and I don't stress out as much if I just don't even use my phone. So I'm really trying to get more into, like, let's be honest. To not use a phone all day, or these challenges for 30 days not using a phone, that's fucking madness. That's crazy. First of all, I work, and I work from my phone. So I'm using my phone all the time, the video and editing and all that. And plus, of course, I do the podcast. So to not use my phone is just crazy talk. However, I think we need to understand when we use our own phone is important, right? So, when you whip out a phone, what are you doing? Are you Googling because you're in a conversation with somebody and you're just having some playful banter back and forth and, let's Google that. Let's see if you're right. Ha ha ha. And we're goofing off. That's cool. But if you're in the middle of a conversation with somebody and you just don't like what they're saying and you're going to whip out your phone because you want to check out your Instagram story, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I think social media is pretty new to everybody, so we don't know what's right and what's wrong. But we have to understand that, it is a little bit disrespectful when you're with a group of friends and you might not be with these friends all the time. And you might not be with those friends 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So same thing with family too. I catch myself when I'm with family using social media and using my phone a lot. And I'm really trying to get in the habit of, when I'm with people that I care about, that I love, maybe that I don't see all the time, maybe like a friend I only see like twice a year, I just put down the phone, take a couple pictures, throw something up on Snapchat, I get it, but then put the phone down and just have a conversation. Just talk to them for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. And I think that's important, because not only are you going to understand kind of what they're going through and be able to feel what they're going through, like really get in it and get in that conversation that you wouldn't be able to do if you were distracted by a phone, but also phones are awesome, right? So when you have this in your hand, it is so damn difficult to just put it down. So when you do finally put it down, try not to pick it back up again. Just make it a habit of, if you're talking with somebody, just put it down and keep it down. That's really one thing I'm trying to do, and it's been a challenge, trust me, especially when I'm with the wife, and I even find myself like we're watching, a movie or we're binging something on Netflix, and I still find myself like picking up my phone as we're watching it, and then I look next to her and she's doing it too. I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like, babe, all right, let's get back in it. Let's put the phones down, and it's hard because again, phones are awesome. There's a lot of cool shit on there. Face filters, and I get it, but I think we all have to kind of be a little bit more, cautious of how we're using our phones, because you're having this great conversation with a friend and it's positive and things are going well, and again, you haven't seen this person in a long time, and then you pick up your phone and then it's a mean tweet from somebody and you get all pissed off and you say something mean, and then you go back to your conversation with your friend and now you have that negative energy and you're bringing that to your friend that you haven't seen in a couple months. So it's like, you got to stay in the moment. You got to stay in that bubble. That's it. Stay here. This is it. Look around the room if you want, but really stay here. Stay in that conversation, and that's something I really want to get good at. So I encourage all you guys to do it as well, and I'd love to kind of see if it works for you guys. Shoot me a message or something like that. Let me know if it helped you, because I know it's really helped me a lot these last like 3-4 weeks. I've been really focusing on it and cautious of it. But speaking of that too, when you do things like that and you get away from your phone and you get away from that outside world of social media, it is kind of cool because a lot of things open up. You start finding yourself like wanting to, have more goals. Like I noticed that in particular, like when I put down my phone and I don't think about other shit that's going on. For example, like if I'm finding like a friend or something on Facebook and I'm following their story, or maybe it puts me down a YouTube rabbit hole and I'm watching all these videos, and then I get caught up in these celebrity stories and these movie trailers, and you get caught up in that fake virtual world, right, of your phone. Well, when you don't do that and you focus more on what you got going on in your life, where it's like, oh, I have clothes in the hamper that have been upstairs for like 5 days. Maybe I should do that. Or, my office is dirty. Maybe I should organize it. Or I got to do the lawn because I haven't done that in a couple weeks. And then you start thinking, oh shit, there's things I got to do. From a macro standpoint, when you look like a month down the road and you're like, okay, yikes, I have 25 things to do. Now my weekend sucks because I'm spending all weekend doing those 25 things. If you just took care of that on a micro level throughout the course of the week, one thing here, 2 things there, instead of just being on your phone all the time when you get back, you're going to get a lot more shit done, and you're going to find you reach those goals. And I don't know about you guys, but if you set yourself a goal and when you accomplish it, there's no greater feeling, man. It's incredible. It's such a good feeling when you accomplish a goal. Physical goal, mental goal, doesn't matter, but when you accomplish that goal, man, it feels a lot better. So I'm really trying to make it a habit to do that as much as I can, and to set up those little micro goals and writing them out too. I don't like to use my phone again because I want to put it down, but I like to write it on paper, because a lot of studies show, and you could look this up, to where there's more people. I forget the percentage, but there's a large amount of people, vast amount of people actually, that actually end up accomplishing those goals by writing them down, because there's something that happens when you write it down. Your brain just triggers, and it naturally remembers it more, and you probably know this, if you're like me, you ever got in trouble in school and they make you write out like, I will not, break the pencil sharpener again, and they make you write it 25 times. I will not break the pencil sharpener again. I will not break. Well, there's a reason for that. Is because if you constantly write it down, you're going to remember it. And I think that's an important thing to remember when you're trying to reach your goals. Is write them on a pen and pad, and accomplish them. And speaking about goals, I do find myself competing with myself too. So that's one thing I usually didn't do. I would do my goals, and once I reach my goals, I would do something else. Right? So for example, like working out. So once I would hit like a certain goal that I wanted to do in the gym, then I would stop and do a different exercise. What I didn't understand was I should add to that exercise. So once I hit that goal, maybe now I'll try supersetting in between those sets to make it more challenging, to raise my heart rate. Maybe I do some calisthenics or some ball training or kettlebells, something that I usually don't do. But to make my workout more intense, I want to add to those goals. I don't want to move on and do something else. Because what happens is when you do one goal and you accomplish it and you move on and do something else, well, then eventually that one other thing that you tried to do that you accomplish first, eventually you're not going to be good at it anymore. It's like if you really want to learn how to play guitar and you end up playing guitar and you end up being really good at it, so good at it, after like a year, 2 years, and then you go to do the drums, but you stop playing guitar, well, you're going to not be as good at guitar. Right? It's common sense. And that goes with everything too. So that's one thing I'm noticing too is perfect my goals or perfect something that I set myself to, and then don't just stop doing it. Add to it. Continue to do those specific goals, but then add to those goals as well. So really competing with myself and making myself better. And then also, the only other thing I want to talk about when it comes to positivity was just the food. What you put in your body is very important, and you guys hear me talk about this all the time, so I won't bore you too much with it. But I have noticed that usually when I have these symptoms of my Crohn's, and then I end up going to the hospital, usually I come back and I always have these conversations where it's like, oh, I'm gonna eat healthy, and I'm gonna, I always eat healthy, but I'm gonna eat more healthy, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be strict, and I travel a lot, but I'm definitely not gonna eat bread. I'm definitely not gonna, and I keep giving myself these lies, because that's all they are, is just lies, because I'm always gonna cheat. But one thing I'm really strict on, and I'm feeling great these last probably 4 or 5 weeks, is no more chemicals. Meaning, I'm not doing anything that's processed. So, for instance, chips. We all love chips. But unless it's a legit potato that's just shaped as a chip, not kettle cooked, but if it's just a potato, I'll eat it. But if it's a legit chip, no, because something has to keep its shelf life. So there's chemicals that are put into chips and to a lot of different foods that we eat on a daily basis that extends the shelf life, and they do that because they're going to make more money that way. And you can't hate on them for it. It's it's a great idea. It's the reason why our country has been able to grow and to have all this economic growth over the past 100-something years, is because of processed foods, and you're able to extend the shelf life of something. So, I mean, I get it, but I think we all understand that we don't necessarily need that stuff. It tastes great, like peanut butter. If you know me, you know that I am obsessed with peanut butter. Super fat's a great example. I love peanut butter. I used to just take it with a spoon and I used to take a spoon, put it right in the jar, a Jif, just go hardcore with Jif, the spoon, and then I put a little honey on the spoon and just, like that was a meal. And I would just have 6, 7, 8 scoops. It's horrible for you because it's processed. However, if you grab a handful of just straight raw peanuts, it's a great meal. It's a great snack. So, again, it's just perception, right? I know peanut butter is fantastic, but peanuts are better for you. So we just have to kind of train our mind to get out of that short-term love that we have for food and focus on the long term. We have to focus on what's good for my health and what's going to keep me positive. All this stuff that we put in our system and put in our bodies, the studies that they do with rats and chickens and all these hormones that get put in all of our food, not just meats, but just food in general. Sometimes even the vegetables, depending on where you get your vegetables, if they use pesticides and different sprays, we don't know what effect that has on our immune system, on our hormones. Like, we don't know that, and we'll never know that. So it's better to just go with safe foods that you know the ingredients and you know what's in it, because it's good for your mental health, and that's going to keep you positive. The reason why a lot of people are depressed is because, obviously outside influences, but also what they put in their body. Whether it's food, whether it's medication. The reason why medication, there's a lot of side effects, is because that's a chemical that's not supposed to be in your body. Now, of course, ibuprofen helps us if our lower back is sore, and I get that. But, over the course of time, you have to be careful. Ibuprofen really affects your liver long term. So again, what's the trade-off? You know what I mean? And that's the same thing with food. It's the same thing with what you put in your body. And we have to start treating our body with a little bit more respect. And I think we're all starting to get a lot smarter at that. I know I am personally. And it's been interesting to go on this journey to learn all this new stuff. And I don't know everything by any means, but I'm slowly trying to learn as much as I possibly can to really get the most out of this life, because you only get one life. And you just got to think to yourself, how positive and how great is your life going to be, and how is that positivity going to affect other people? And that's just kind of the message I wanted to bring across, because it's just been on my mind. And I haven't done a podcast in a couple of weeks, so I kind of had to get something out there. But yeah, I just wanted to give another quick shout out to Superfat. Again, Superfat. This thing is incredible. It's a little pouch. It's got protein. It's got good plant fats. It's keto friendly. It's vegan. I use these things as like a little snack before the gym. I even went to the theme park over the weekend, and I use this as a snack. Just to kind of get me through the park, give me a little energy, but also too, I didn't want to spend a lot of money on theme park food because it's like $20 for a meal. So it's just a great snack on the go, when you're on the plane, when you're at home, before the gym, whatever you want. Go to superfat.com, give them a shot. You will not be disappointed. Tons of flavors. Throw everything you want in the cart. At the end of it, during checkout, type in the code Berardo10, all one word, all caps, Berardo10. You're going to get a discount. Let me know what you guys think. I think you're going to like it. But thanks for listening again. Appreciate you guys. And until next time, I'm Tony Berardo. This was the Berardo Podcast. Peace.